Before anything else, we would like to state again and remind our viewers that our objective in doing this program is to present the facts we gathered and present it to you without passing any judgment or conclusion just yet. At the end of this series, however, we will be providing a conclusion and a stand based on the research that our group has done. If you have information that can enlighten us and provide more clarity on this topic, please contact us and we will be more than willing to present your side.
In our previous episode, we already talked about the previous names that the island of Limasawa was called. The proponents of Limasawa also discussed how they handled the controversy of the first mass while they were preparing for the celebration of the 500-year celebration of the arrival of Christianity in the Philippines. With challenges from other groups, the Limasawa proponents didn't stop researching evidence and materials to strengthen their case. The latest commission tasked to decide on this issue, it was a panel convened in 2018, the Mojares Panel. This was headed by Dr. Resil B. Mojares. In this episode of Historia, we will talk about the last claim on the series regarding the first mass in the Philippines, the claim of Limasawa Island, which was declared by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines as the site of the first Easter Mass in 1521.
Hey! What's up? I'm Mark Pangilinan, your kulit traveler from Limang Siglo, and welcome to Historia, Story within History. In this series, you will hear the stories of every place we visit. Let's explore, enhance our knowledge, but more importantly, enjoy, while deepening our understanding of our history.
This episode was made through the generous support of Alpha Fusion.
One important event on the arrival of the Magellan Elcano expedition is the first documented and confirmed celebration of a mass in the country. According to the accounts of Antonio Pigafetta, the first mass was held on an island called Mazawa. Significantly, the first mass was held during the Easter of that year. I am with Monsignor Oscar Cadayona, the Vicar General of the Diocese of Maasin, and Dr. Rolando Borinaga, the main proponent of the Limasawa claim, who presented the case with the Mojares Panel.
Okay, I'm Monsignor Oscar Cadayona. I'm the Vicar General of the Diocese of Maasin, and I am in this position since 2012 when I arrived from Rome because I had been absent in the diocese for 5 to 6 years. Then I returned here in the Diocese of Maasin 8 years ago.
I'm Professor Rolando Borinaga of the School of Health Sciences, University of the Philippines, in Palo, Leyte.
According to Dr. Borinaga, Butuan celebrated the event of the first mass for at least 300 years. He said that the first published claim was found in the book of Father Francisco Colon. However, in 1902, another book was published by Father Pablo Pasteles, which according to Dr. Barinaga, contained an update or correction on the information of the first Mass.
Later, Pigafetta's account surfaced in 1800s. And it said there that the mass was in fact in Masawa. But even the Italian version of Pigafetta did not reach the Filipino intellectual community until the 1890s, when Dr. Trinidad Pardo de Tavera basically read that and affirmed that the claim of Butuan for more than 200 years, which was based on secondary sources, at least not in the first person Pigafetta, was an imaginary event. It did not have a basis in fact. It was based on a mistranslation of the document by a writer named Gian Battista Ramosio at the time. And so from 1895, it was claimed that it was finally the Limasawa claim for the first Mass surfaced. And I would even prefer to think that Limasawa started its commemoration of the first Mass in 1921. 100 years old pa lang yung pag-celebrate nila. Previous to that, the event was celebrated or commemorated in Butuan.
From the early 1900s, the site of the first Mass started to be contested. Since 1921, the Philippine government has recognized Limasawa, an island municipality of the province of Southern Leyte, as the site of the event. Based on the stand of the Committee for the 4th Centenary of the Discovery of the Philippines, created by the U.S. Insular Government of the Philippine Islands. Republic Act No. 2733, known as the Limasawa Law, was enacted without executive approval on June 19, 1960. The legislative fiat declared the site in Magallanes, Limasawa Island, in the province of Leyte, where the first Mass in the Philippines was held, is hereby declared a national shrine to commemorate the birth of Christianity in the Philippines. This controversy during the 1980s led the National Historical Institute to do a workshop with Dr. Samuel K. Tan. The commission studied the issue and recommended that the site for the first Mass was in Limasawa. Due to continuing objections from Butuan proponents, NHI created the panel headed by former Supreme Court Justice Emilio Gancayco in 1995. NHCP, the former NHI, again resorted to creating another panel in 2008, this time led by Dr. Benito Legarda, a historian. Both panels resulted in pronouncing Limasawa as the site of the first Mass.
In 2018, by that time, my theoretical paper was already 10 years old, and insofar as although I have told this my findings in some academic forums, people will always say, okay, tingnan natin kung i-uphold ba yan ng National Historical Commission of the Philippines, which they did in 2020. So diyan na naniniwala sila, and that after it has been upheld, my findings were upheld by the Mojares Panel and the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, I am basically already on the side. My findings can stand already for themselves, irrespective of what I say or what I do about it. Nandiyan na yun.
The quincentennial of the first Mass in the Philippines is fast approaching. NHCP wanted to make a final decision and a stand on this matter. They constituted a 6-man panel of scholars headed by Dr. Resil Mojares, a historian, and recognized as National Artist of the Philippines for Literature. The panel was created to review the result of the earlier panels created by NHI and the position papers submitted by pro-Butuan and pro-Limasawa advocates. The objective of this panel is to listen to both sides and settle the location of the first mass in the Philippines. Last 2020, NHCP released Board Resolution Number 2, 2020 and states that NHCP adopts the Mojares Panel recommendations that the site of the first Easter Mass that happened in the Philippine soil in 1521 was in Limasawa Island. The recommendation was initially submitted to various history departments of known universities in the Philippines and professional organizations. They all concurred with the findings of the panel and found the same acceptable and done scholarly following the rigors of discipline.
It is really important because we are talking about history, no? And when we talk about history, there is time, there is date, there is day, there is a month, there is a year. So it is really important here because not because maybe we can claim that we are privileged, that the first is the site of the first Easter Mass is here in Limasawa, and we can say we are very proud to say that we are blessed, we are fortunate, but that blessing does not remain in Limasawa. It spreads, no, throughout the archipelago. Philippines is Philippines today because of the coming of Christianity.
For Monsignor Oscar Cadayona, Christianity is not a tool for colonization, but it was a gift to all of us Filipinos as we celebrate the 500 years of Christianity in the country.
The coming of Christianity is a gift to all of us Filipinos. Because it is a gift, we have the task to share this with others. Now, we become what we are. We become the country that God wants us to be. Because the coming of Christianity helps us to respect each other, the dignity of man, the rights of man, and the church has been advocating for the defense of its people. Para bang bagong mukha, bagong anyo ng tao because of Easter, because of the gift of the Eucharist, because of the gift of faith. No? Naging bagong anyo, naging bagong mukha tayo because of that risen Christ. Before, aywan ko kung anong mukha natin, hindi ganito, no? Because of that gift, because of that first Easter Mass, ito na tayo ngayon.
In our next episode, we will provide our conclusion and our stand based on the research and documents we gathered through the series of finding where is the site of the first recorded Mass in the Philippine soil that happened in 1521. We are done with 5 claims as the site of the first Mass in the country. The celebration of a Mass by Blessed Odorico on Santiago Island off the coast of Balinaw, Pangasinan, the claim of Mazawa Island, Homonhon Island, Butuan, and lastly, Limasawa Island.
Let me know what you think about this episode. You can comment on our YouTube channel or tweet your reaction and tag us at Limang Siglo. If you want to check our previous episodes, don't forget to click the I button on the upper right corner of the video. Historia playlist will be linked on the description box below.
Time flies so fast, but every minute is a story. Thank you for watching this episode. I'm your Kulit Traveler, Mark Pangilinan. Our national hero Jose Rizal once said, "He who does not know how to look back at where he came from will never get to his destination." See you again next week, and this is Historia, Story Within History.
This episode was made through the generous support of Alpha Fusion. Alpha Fusion is an IT solutions agency focused on delivering AI chatbot solutions to enterprises for purposes of automating e-commerce, sales and marketing, and customer service. Here at Historia, we don't have a monopoly in knowledge, talent, and information. If you would like to be one of our council of consultants, we would be more than willing to discuss it with you. Just email us at mark@limangsiglo.org or message us on Limang Siglo Facebook page.